It is that time, folks. Y'all know what it is. Lucas and Najee here, back for Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 4, which Season 4 is broken into two parts. So this is Season 4, Part 1, Episode 1, our official recap review show here each and every week after that episode airs. Y'all know we love Power. I know you all love Power, so I know you all are happy to be out with us tonight for the premiere episode of the final season. Bittersweet, but I don't think by no means is this goodbye. Just means that this may just be the end of this show. I'm sure we'll see these characters again very soon. We'll see. But nonetheless, we are going to keep all of the different things we could talk about and sidebar about and so on. Let's just get right into tonight's episode. First things first, I want to start off by asking you, this is the premiere episode, my guy. What did you think about it? How do you feel to be back talking Power Book 2 Ghost?
Man, this was it didn't feel like a first episode for Power. Like they really fleshed things out a little more than what I'm accustomed to. Yeah. You know, what Power we normally get, like, you know, a little bit here and there in the first episode and a big reveal at the end. And they were like, nah, we're just gonna give you as much action as humanly possible in a first episode. Like, this is and we got rid of a pause. Like, you can't get any better than that. Like, granted, she's still alive and she's the most hated character in Power's history.
Is she?
But, like, yes, she's the most hated character in Power. No one likes Paz. Like, it's people who like.
She's not hated. She may be disliked, but she's not hated. There's definitely way more hated.
Like, she's absolutely hated. No one likes Paz. Like, no one at all. So I mean, it's a big action-packed episode, and it feels good. Granted, it feels bittersweet with this being the last season of the flagship, really, for me. So that's kind of odd, but you know, like it's a hell of a start. Like, they definitely went, no pun intended, guns blazing and said, yep, this is gonna be it. We're gonna give you everything humanly possible.
Yeah. This episode is directed by Brendan Walsh, who also will be directing episode 409 and previously directed episode 309, and then written by Michael C. Martin. Michael, I didn't do a deep dive, but I for sure feel Michael is new to writing for Power. I should probably check that because I'm sure one of you are gonna be like, oh, he's wrote for Power before. But point of the matter I'm getting at is that whether this is his first time or not, and by all means, I need to looking up his credits real quick. He's known for Brooklyn's Finest, Lethal Weapon, 10 Cents Pistol. So
the show Lethal Weapon. Oh man, that was my shit before they he did Crazy White Boy. He went off the rails.
He did an episode for that. He did a couple of episodes for Wu-Tang American Assassin. He's wrote a couple of episodes for Empire and Star, Love Star. Very excited for that coming back.
As long as it was Empire in the first 2 seasons, right before Terrence Howard put the boy in the trash can. That's when like Empire just went down the drain.
Yeah, I'm looking. I do not see him credited for anything Power. So yeah, wow. This is him joining the Power family, and I think that just makes sense why this episode feels a lot different. I don't think the show has to rush to the finish line. This isn't the end of this universe. I can very confidently say that. And as we know, the other shows is coming. Which will be taken, earlier in the timeline, but for the current timeline,
they're gonna bring something for the current timeline back. So 1,000%. That. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think this is just reshuffling the deck. There's probably more. I could probably speculate here, but nonetheless, joining the Power family for the final season and really setting the tone for the season. Yeah. And the shows I named, it fits the DNA. I mean, even Empire at episodes has some really off the wall episodes where things were just going crazy and bullets and all sorts of different stuff. So like, it makes sense. And I definitely thought this was a very solid welcome back party for us Power fans.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, this is the flagship show. Everybody looks forward to the show, and it's not a knock on any of the other shows. It's just that these are the characters that we've grown throughout the time. The 10-year anniversary, shall I mention,
that's the key part.
of Power. And it's only right that we would come back in a fashion like this. So very, very was excited. Very, very was happy with this episode and very excited to talk about it. With that being said, there's a lot of, as you said, really ironing out the stakes, the reintroduction of the characters, sort of laying the foundation in terms of some of these characters' mindsets, allegiances, alliances, really, really answering all of our questions, even giving us answers to where certain characters are and where they may not appear, which, I can't wait to talk about that. And obviously capitalizing off of the stakes of last season and everything with Sax, the case that they definitely got completely destroyed on, and so on. So yeah, we'll talk about it all. But we do start off at Noma's spot with Obi killing two people who was hip to his little move that he had. The reason why this was important, I'll speak to this first, I'm gonna throw it to you, is like, we have to remember Obi's trying to get out of this. He's trying to get to his family. So understand this very, very first moment of the episode. I know we've seen Obi and Noma very side by side. And I know there's a lot of this episode that it appears that they are side by side. He has very hidden motivations and intentions to get from under her and get with his folks safely. So he's definitely playing the part right now. But the turn, or excuse me, because you know how we like to say here on the Big Gold Belt Media, the heel turn, or excuse me, the face turn
is on the way. He's clearly turning face.
He's trying to get from out of the NWO. He may join the Wolfpack, we don't know, but nonetheless, he's getting out of this. He's done with the clique. But for that alone, because I think probably in this episode, instead of talking so much about the events, there are some certain events we are going to talk about. I think we should sort of tackle each character and where we kind of see these characters going. So with Obi, seeing him kill off the two people that knew something about what he was doing, instantly lied to Noma about them, saying they were the ones that let them in, and all of the different things that he pretty much lies to her face or manipulates her decision, which is interesting because ain't she the top dog? She never, ever looked at him for any advice. That dynamic looks really strange right now. What's your thoughts?
It was good to get a refresher that Tariq made the power play for Obi for him to get those green cards. For people who forgot, because I mean, again, it has been a while. So people may have forgotten that Tariq made that power play for him. And he's the one, again, we said at the recap at the beginning, he's the one who warned Brayden up front, like, hey, this is what's going to happen. So it's dope to see him kill those two off the break. But just to dig deeper into the character, it's the manipulation in this episode that's absolutely amazing. Down to it coming across to someone who doesn't know his situation. It would almost come across like he was flirting with Noma, and she took it that way. The whole time, he's just trying to play a head game with her so he can make sure Tariq is safe. Like, that's the key part here. This entire episode is him manipulating every movement that she makes for the betterment of Tariq, because that's the person who helped him. Like, that's the part that we need to see of Obi more than anything else. Because, again, we are going to get to that point where he face turns. And when he does, that is a hell of a killer to have on your side. So I'm more than anticipating even greater things from him in this season. Like, it caught me a little bit off guard, especially with the little flirting part. Because at first I'm like, wait a minute, I know he ain't trying to hit Noma. I understand one to hit Noma, but I'm like, he can't be going that angle. They worked together too long. And then he's like, oh, he's using that as a way to disarm her, because she's thinking that he's trying to sleep with her. She's clearly not paying attention to anything else he's doing.
Yeah.
When she said, think with think with your other head, as women say all the time. Like, it was a good line, but it was a good setup by him. So, like, this character here to start off this way is great. And to see him kill two people at the beginning of the episode. Always.
I'll say this. Loyalty isn't a word you use, but there's definitely that. Tariq may get on the deal, so the loyalty is definitely intact. And this seems to be a level of undying loyalty, because to cross somebody who obviously can just send out a text to put assassins on you. I mean, at one point, Noma was at the Continental and she excommunicated both.
I'm about to say the same thing. She out this joint hitting that line, like she putting out hits on John Wick.
Yeah. Miss so and then listen, this is a comparison as a person who don't like to really kind of make these silly comparisons, because I kind of get on people for doing this, but I think it's very fitting here. And it's not just because of the accents, but if you've been watching Bel Air, my same intrigue with Obi is the same intrigue I have with Bel Air's edition or version of Goffrey, who is seemingly a very loyal person who may have connections, but is completely dangerous. And the mystique behind the character, he's very clean guy. He's a man of few words. And he makes those few words count. So I liked how he's able to really work Noma to the point that Noma very much in frustration said, I thought I was careful. How could this have happened to me? And I'm thinking to myself, like, because it didn't. Because you're careful. But he's got her in her own head on the fly. There was a play that only Brayden and Tariq knew, and he was just on it. He was like, oh, I get what's happening here, and fed her into this. So I'm really, really interested to see what happens with Obi, and whether he survives or whether he catches a bullet, because y'all know this is Power. It's the last season, which means pretty much every character is on the table right now. I hope it just makes sense. I hope it's very fulfilling, because right now they got my interest at an all-time high for a newer character that hasn't been around for many seasons. But with that being said, we do see Kane, who's shot and pissed. As we now know that Brayden and Tariq got away, and they're really this entire episode trying to work a plan. They're covering up the Mercedes on the dock, and Noma goes back to all of her stooges, which is Kane, the Tejadas, and Effie. Is
bunch of putties in this episode.
A bunch of putties, man. Except they lived. Putties typically get eye, but except they lived. Her stooges at the airport are definitely putties. But Noma declares that she wants her Tariq problem solved. Meanwhile, Diana is in limbo because while she has been instructed about the Tariq issue, which she, if you ask me, really isn't putting that at all in any concern. Right now, it seems like Diana is trying to shuffle between what she's going to do with her mother or will she stay in line with Noma. I don't want to talk about Diana yet. I want to get through a couple of things before we get there. I think right now, we can shift to Kane. Kane is a hothead. We know Kane does not have leadership capabilities. We know he is a soldier. We've talked about Kane for many seasons and really categorized him. He gets his jokes. Him and Effie working what seems to be a functional relationship. I don't know, maybe.
Not after we see what happens later on in the episode.
I mean,
it is clear like this.
I guess, yeah.
These hoes ain't loyal, because clearly she turned on him so quick. Like,
what song? There's a song, and I'm going to sound either I'm either going to age myself or I'm going to make myself look really green.
About time. I've been aging myself.
Who referenced Effie? Somebody referenced Effie and her loyalness in a song, and I thought it was interesting because when I heard it in the lyrics, I was like, I don't know if I understand that just yet. Now I do, so I have to come back to you all about what I'm talking about, because I definitely heard a song where Effie's loyalty is used as a bar, and I was like, huh?
Is it that Effie or the Effie from Dreamgirls?
No, not that one. I picked that one up. No. but in a sense, how does it work still? I'm trying to think.
Yes. Effie from Dreamgirls was loyal as a motherfucker, Jeff.
Yeah, so it doesn't work then. No, but yeah.
I'm talking about if they saying she was loyal in that song.
Oh no,
I don't know what song.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. But talking about Kane here, Kane is still hell bent on taking Tariq down with the added motivation that Tariq shot his mom because that's what Diana said. What do you think about Kane as we get reintroduced to Kane this season? And where do you kind of see Kane going? Because let's be honest, one more season of Kane chasing Tariq? Are you here for it?
No. Kane ain't had it together since he danced to Every Little Thing I Make in that Bobby Brown movie. Since then, hey, Kane ain't been together this entire time. Like, Kane is the constant in Power Book Ghost. Like, Kane will never grow. He is the same person no matter what. He's a reckless thug, and that's the way they play him. And at this point, it's either you're gonna love that character or you're gonna hate that character. For me personally, I absolutely love Kane because I know when push comes to shove, I can depend on him to do the most reckless thing humanly possible. This man gets shot and says, I am going to the Westons. A black man in a very predominantly white rich neighborhood in New York, bleeding, decides that's where I'm gonna go. I'll go and deal with them before I do anything else, and proceeds to beat one of them senselessly, looking for someone who would never go back home in that situation. It's like Kane he got biker boy vision. Yeah. He sees it and nothing on the side. It is straight ahead for Kane. And for this character, again, we love the way in season 3 with him and Effie, the way that relationship looked like it was going to go, because he gave her something that Tariq couldn't. But here, it's just like, nah, nothing matters. We understand his love for Monet. But just the reckless abandon and him not thinking, which Drew and Diana is dependent on Kane not thinking that much and just reacting. And this whole episode is him playing Common from John Wick 2. When he was just chasing John Wick everywhere humanly possible.
Yeah.
That's all Kane is doing here with Tariq. He don't care about anything else. Down to getting a stand down order, and saying, I'm going to act like I didn't see that. What sense does that make, man?
Yeah.
But again, you depend on Kane for this type of stuff. He's the violent one.
Mm-hmm. And like, I'll be honest that from season 3 to season 4, the tone of the show feels a little different. But I'm very happy that at least our characters, in which we know them to be, is consistent.
Yes.
If Kane would have been out here making rational decisions, playing chess all of a sudden instead of checkers, I would have lost it. So I'm not mad for the first episode that Kane is still on his same Kane shenanigans. Yep. He's a lover boy. You know, he's going to get his jokes in. You know, he's going to get his chops. And whether, you know, that is I can't even think of his name, if it's the actor in terms of doing that, or is that just how the character is written? Nonetheless, Kane has been who we know Kane to be. But to the second part of my question,
movie that we saw,
Woody, there we go.
Movie we saw with Brandy. What's the movie? The BET movie. Kane in that movie?
I don't know, but Woody, here we go.
Woody was in that movie. We were literally at her house watching the movie. I can't remember the name of the movie.
No, it wasn't.
He played an assassin.
Oh, I don't know. Well, Brandy, I don't know. Yeah. I haven't seen Brandy on TV in a minute. I don't think. But anywho, I just very consistent with Kane. I just hope that we just don't get 2 parts of the final season of him constantly going after. So for me, I hate to say this, but it seems to be a little bit more poetic to see him actually take a different route. And we've seen him very much, you know, he's never, I will say he's never sort of been disloyal to his mother, because that's been the one and only person that knows what it keeps him where he needs to be, and uses him to the T, but he's comfortable with that. But to see that relationship be put to the test, you know, it's going to be interesting. And we see at the end of this episode where he tells Monet, after Monet wakes up, that well, we don't know who shot you, but he has his questions. Honestly, it's the first smart thing he said in terms of Diana lying, who Diana lies very badly, which is consistent as
She's
well
the
too. She
worst
can never
liar.
lie, absolutely every single time. So the fact when when Kane questions like, "Oh, so there's other tall, light skinned, lanky dudes out here?" Well, if the shoe fits, we'll see if that makes him more or less get a little bit more suspicious about uh
Diana.
and
Yeah.
maybe doing his own investigation to get the truth about who shot his mom. Seems that might be his motivation.
That's when we're going to get to turning Kane, because I think he's going to find out it was Drew and Diana. And what the hell is his reaction going to be when he found out them two tried to kill Monet?
Yep.
I think that's when we're going to see a completely different Kane. Because if he reacts the way he always reacts, it's going to be him not thinking, but he can't react that way with them. And I think that will bring way more heart into the character that we've seen from time to time. But I think that's going to really expose it. Just where he's going to have to make decisions that he never thought he would have to make. And that's when it gets deep and interesting with Kane. But again, everything is a setup for the rest of the season. That's why you like this episode. Because again, I don't want changes from the characters when this is supposed to pick up immediately following events of season 3. If all of a sudden all these characters thought differently, you would question everything. Like, wait a minute. Even Tariq making questionable decisions. We're going to talk about it later with Tariq, or putting his family above other people's family. We'll talk about that with Tariq. Like, it's certain things that had to stay constant. And for Kane, it's constant. Like, he's going to be a hothead right here. But when he starts wondering who tried to kill Monet, which is his soft spot, is Monet. Whether when she was turning on him, when he didn't think he could fully trust her, all that stuff. Nonetheless, she was always a soft spot for him. So now that Diana has revealed that she lied, which makes absolutely no sense, and for Kane to question it, you got to wonder what's going to be the next step.
Yeah.
So I'm interested.
Yeah, bro.
It's going to be
I'm just
really,
looking.
really fun.
I'm just looking like, what movie are you talking about that Woody was in? Woody has only been in SZA's music video and Desperation Road since Power. So I don't know what you're talking about. I think
you don't remember the movie.
I think I know what you're talking about, but it's not Woody. You're talking about what's his name from Force.
Yep. Gerard.
Yeah, look at you. Try and make a funny. All wrong.
Gerard. Him and Woody are the same. Him and Kane are the same character. That's it. Oh man, except for Gerard shot crack in a random car with a stranger. That's the only difference between him and Kane.
Yeah, well. but my man Chris D. Lofton, because you're as
the
my
funniest
man said,
Twitter follow humanly possible.
1,000%. Just to be making dope ass cooking videos on his Instagram. My man
no sense.
But my man got two personalities, two different social medias. But definitely everybody that's watching us tonight, definitely join us in the comments below or in the chat if you're watching this through the stream, and let us know your thoughts about tonight's episode and be a part of the conversation as we go through the events of the episodes, or as we break down our characters as we are reintroduced to them. So we get to the stash spot now, which happens to be a storage unit. Tariq has military grade guns. Who? What? Don't worry, it's Power. We'll just leave it alone. But nonetheless,
now.
He is, and that the theme of this season is like father, like son. So you just gotta. First of all, if y'all don't know, Power Book 2 Ghost is based off of Grand Theft Auto. This is why Tariq is able to teleport the way he does. He has stash spots in the places he does, and he damn sure going to have guns in random places that you never thought or knew anything about. Because the first question I have to ask is, how did you get these, sir? And I swear to God, if one of you all be like, oh, you didn't watch this or that, please correct me here.
See, you are being so nice, because I was about to say, fuck y'all. Because there's no way. There's no explaining this. He hid it in a storage unit. Out of all places, a storage unit. I would come on, dog. Come on. But again, I liked it because the motif, it works with the show. Man, even down Brayden asking like, what, you got money here? Nah, I got the money stored somewhere where it's difficult to get into to get the money. But in this storage unit, I got nothing but guns instead of like having multiple storage units with cash and everything. And granted, it didn't work out well in Snowfall with storage units and cash, but I'm just assuming it worked better than storing cash at a school.
Yeah,
I'm just.
I'll take it for what it's worth. We'll let the powerisms get into gear pretty early. And actually, I'm not even mad about this. I'm not even tripping about this.
Not at all.
But Tariq having these type of guns was interesting because the first thing I thought was like, can he use these? Because Tariq has definitely not been surehand or surefire, and he's picking up a different type of beast here. As a person who don't shoot guns, I'm sitting here like, I know he can't shoot that.
And him and Brayden became the best sharpshooters in the world in this episode.
Yeah, so
what the hell happened?
Power Book 2 Wick. It's what we got here. So but nonetheless, their plan is to get Noma's daughter Anya, and they figure they can use her as collateral. With that being said, we get Blanca Rodriguez, who y'all know I love some Blanca. But what's really important about this is Blanca is turning the page on the Alphabet Boys and their resources on the St. Patrick case because they got their ass handed to them to the point that Jenny is gone. As they said, Jenny is out here. Jenny Sullivan is gone to chase mob guys. I love Patton. So if we don't see Patton back, I hope that's because those mob guys happens to be somebody in somewhere.
We already know where they at.
That's true. I also think that this is another indication of Jenny getting somewhere first and Blanca to follow. Because let's not forget where she showed up at. So is this sort of the exclamation point of New York and how we start to see our characters transition out?
And we I just thought about it. And we also got to remember this takes place before Force. Because we're still with season 3, we did not see when the hell Tommy and Tariq connected like we saw. And we always said, well, what's the timeline going on here? And they were like, oh no, we're not even talking about timelines. And they purposely are saying we're not talking about timelines here. So Blanca's here. When the hell did she get to Chicago?
Yeah.
And Jenny's chasing gangs. I mean, the mob. Where else is the mob at in the Power universe?
Yeah. I'm not playing timeline games until somebody comes out and tells us exactly when. We'll get to it. We got some interview opportunities arising, so we'll get to that question. But I'm not playing that with you all.
The last interview,
I don't want to hear.
We're not paying no attention to it.
I don't want to hear a Mark Dark this or a movie bot that. I need to hear it from the director, producers, Courtney. Somebody.
Or not even play the timeline game. Maybe they're setting up, which would be a dope thing to do, to set up a spinoff based on Jenny chasing mob guys and then doing a different form of power. Because that would be a spinoff that no one would expect because that's not the normal character to spin off the show off of.
And I could get behind that. I think Patton's a fantastic actor. Yes. And I think there's intrigue. And nonetheless, I think the biggest thing for us to speculate here is these characters that we are seeing sort of either written off or disappearing to appear in some capacity. We don't need a timeline because that way they have more creative freedom to kind of do what they want to do, so they don't have to retcon anything. So forget the timelines. Forget trying to nitpick exactly when. Just understand that they can work in conjunction of having these characters shift to a different show because there's more force to come. But if you know this is the end of this, and maybe this is a part of the method to the madness behind splitting up the two parts, Maybe there
Yeah.
is some reason behind that. Maybe we have some level of a time jump here. I don't know. But nonetheless, I
That'd be
think
dope.
that
Yeah.
for us, I think for the fans, we want to see these characters that we know to somewhere somehow appear, because we love cameos, especially cameos with characters we know have substance connections and that could really tie things together. So
Yeah.
Jenny Goes Anywhere, that's interesting. Just like Blanca popping up was a big deal, even though it didn't amount to anything just yet. It's still a big deal.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely interested to see what happens with that, and I'm definitely interested to see. 2-Bits is the one that everybody is speculating is going to be on the next season of Force. I also think that Tate, whose name was brought up, I would love if we didn't see Tate at all this season.
In this one? Really?
I would love it. I would love it. It's only going to push the narrative that they
part
have
one.
At least part one
part
for
two.
sure.
Yeah.
It only pushes the narrative that there's still more story to be told with this character.
Yeah.
And to appear in some other shape, way, or form. I don't think that, you know how much I was campaigning for influence, and I be seeing y'all on social media behind me. I love y'all for that. But I still think that there's an opportunity for them to do something with it. And granted, Jenny is another character that you can put on a show like that, and it works.
Influence. It's a lawyer. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah. A disgrace lawyer at that.
And her and Tate team up.
Or do she get? I don't know. I don't want to get down the rabbit hole.
We get into it. Like, it's so many connections there.
Definitely. But anyway, Angel Young, who is Angela's nephew, Paz's son, is there trying to figure out how to get the case back on Tariq, because we know he's young, new to DA, but he also has family ties to this, personal and emotional connection to it, that makes his motivation to this more legitimate than anybody else's that we had. Sax's was like some obsession. I mean, you just go down the line of all of the folks that was obsessed and had a heart for the St. Patrick's. I think Angel makes the most sense as of right now. But you know what I love about this episode? They did us all a favor. I'm not saying I wish for this character's death, but I'm just saying,
yes.
Did we need this story again? Another obsessed cop?
No.
So
we are not getting another obsessed cop. We're not getting Angela and Ghost all over again, 2.0. None of that. like, we're gonna wipe this nigga off the board immediately, which is a great thing.
Yeah. Moving on. So we get Effie driving Kane to the hospital, where Kane doesn't want to go to the hospital because he wants to go to the West Ends to look for Dumb and Dumber. Monet's in the hospital. Here's where it gets interesting, because Monet is fighting for her life on a medical bed, in surgery. And, if the trailers had not given this away, I think this scene would have meant a lot more, because I would have been the first to say, oh, they can't afford her. So, it's only right that they bring it on for one more episode. It's the last season. So, if you really want to sort of, potentially clear the budget.
Clear the budget? You got to get rid of Mary?
It's not a bad write-off. If she had died on that table, this story that could have been told. I mean, I love Mary. I absolutely love Mary. But I'm just saying, this could have went either way. But if they had not gave this away in the trailer, these scenes would have meant a lot more.
Yeah.
But in all fairness, it still was interesting, because we see Mecca and Lorenzo come back as Ghost, because buzzword. And she's watching
Monet was a ghost too.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, she's watching herself on the table, and she's trying to figure out what is happening. Where is she at, as Lorenzo and Mecca are there to confront her. Now, they have a couple of different conversations in this episode, but we'll just compile it all right now. What did you think about Mecca and Lorenzo's return, and them making Monet and serving her a dose of accountability that, well, has anybody? What did you think about the dynamic between the three?
that even in your afterlife, you can't get rid of your petty ass exes. Like this is just as petty as humanly possible. You come here now, I'm up here dying, and I gotta hear you say you deserved it. Like everything you've done. It's like, wait a minute, if you want me as Ghost Monet to take accountability, Lorenzo quickly brushed that shit on the rug when she said you killed Zeke. That was unforgivable. And he said you you compiled hurt on top of that, and you took away your kid's father. Nah, no, no. Let's stay with the point that you killed her child. Like they say, don't try to flip this on me. You know what you did. And then Dante, the same thing. It's an attempt to show that maybe Monet should be accountable for her actions. But then you got to look at the flip side and say that, in all honesty, these are two men who used her in a way. And in the end, all she wanted was her children. That's what made the most impactful conversation was with her and Zeke. It wasn't with them two. They gave her petty. Zeke gave her truth. Of saying you never gave us a chance.
Yeah.
Because you were dishonest from the beginning with me. And that's what she needed to hear.
It is something we talked very extensively in that season. I can't remember, is it last season or season 2? Zeke's been gone for a little second.
Yeah.
It is good to see Daniel back. That's my guy. And I know you all love Zeke. Zeke did not give you anything to meme about. But he's acting. My man Daniel's acting. You notice he ain't coming acting like a cornball, all right? Or that young kid.
My man got the new NCIS show. Is that him that's gonna be in there? I think so.
I don't know. Let's look that up too. You just making me search everything.
Young black actors for stuff.
Clearly. Yeah, you need to get that together. Otherwise, Freaky Zeke going meet you in your dreams.
Hey, I'm giving people credit, damn it.
Me too, and I've always did. I mean, because let's just call it what it is. His acting that people made fun of was on par for what the character needed to do.
Because this scene did not explore that same Zeke that people were accustomed to seeing.
Yeah. But on that note, we talked very extensively back in that season, and he is in FBI International. It's the last time he's popped up.
Yeah, I remember that episode. That's my show.
Yeah. It's the fact that, like, we always talk about, like, when parents decide to make decisions where they want to hide secrets from their kids, is it for better or is it for worse? And we see now this is the detriment of holding the secret, because Zeke never had an opportunity, as he said, he never had an opportunity for himself because of this. And the moment he tried to explore options, it was to his demise. And so Monet wanted forgiveness. She got nothing. She got ghosted, left on red, left on scene. I mean, if it wasn't from her two light-skinned exes giving her that treatment, and now the son giving her treatment, man, listen, city girls are down 5,000 points, man. It's damn bad. They're looking like the Knicks out here. That's gonna hurt some folks' feelings. But
you could have used so many other names. I'm pretty sure the Knicks ain't as bad as the names you could have used there.
Well, people were very excited for the Knicks to get to the finals, but
that's because they just love disappointment.
Yeah, well, here we are, disappointment. For me, Monet has always been a polarizing figure. No one's been able to really check her. We get her being held accountable from 3 different angles and 3 different perspectives. But I think what hurt her the most was her son. That's always been her true love, because we see she was combatant against the other 2, or at least tried to hold her ground. And they had their points. Mecca and Lorenzo next to each other on the same side, who didn't like each other and shouldn't have liked each other for reasons, is a strange choice of consciousness, even in her almost passing of life. And that's kind of what this is, right? I believe that's like how people express when you do see folks like this. This is a state of consciousness. I don't think we want to go as far as saying she was on the astral plane and she saw T'Challa or something. She literally saw the people that was on her mind. and she
She had the
saw him
star
in a way
tree.
she's never seen him. Yeah. does that at all bring a different perspective to your answer? That the fact that she sort of, this is how she visioned them.
I'm about to say, yeah, this is her subconscious. She kind of says it when she said, "Y'all are here. I know what y'all here to do." Like she kind of addresses it, but from an audience perspective, you have to remember all of these are. She's asking herself these questions and she's giving herself answers because that's the way accountability works in this form of her just being reflective of life. It's something that a lot of people don't know about because you got to have a near death experience to experience that. And this is Monet experiencing that and then her reflecting on the choices that she made. So this is her as Zeke questioning everything and letting her know these is where you fucked up at. Same thing with Lorenzo and Mecca. Like this is where you messed up at. Yeah. So that's her form of accountability because we need to see Monet take some form of accountability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially because, damn it, her kids tried to kill her. Like this ain't no hunky-dory situation here. Your kids tried to kill you because of the things that you've done. Mm-hmm. So are we going to see, now that she's awake, a different Monet?
Yeah.
We'll see. Shout out also to Daniel because I was right. He is. It's not on the credits yet because he is in NCI Origins, which is the origin story of Jeto Gibbs, which is the new NCI show, and he is one of the stars of the new show. So my guy is, for y'all making fun of him as Zeke, he landed a primetime show, the biggest series show humanly possible, and he's a recurring character on that show.
Hey, Jethro Gibbs is my guy. I gotta check that out. Let's move on. Diana now brings a different tale to the shooting of Monet.
Yeah.
As she says, she sacrificed herself to protect me. That's why she's in the hospital fighting for her life. Diana is acknowledging what we said. We just didn't think she would have sort of the appreciation for this. This is just only, and let it be very clear that why she states this is definitely a part and an aspect to why she's deciding where she wants to really go through with seeing this out, as Drew is saying.
Yeah.
But it's, to me, it's this Diana in general. Diana can never keep her mind up straight about anything. So this is very much on par for her going back and forth in terms of what she wants to do in terms of Monet fight for life. But anyway, Drew comes up with a plan because now they're trying to get Brayden because they have to kill Brayden and Tariq in order for them to not tell that it was them two that was behind it. So they decide they're going to go to campus, get Becca, kidnap her to lure them out. With that being said,
no one's thinking. In other words, no one's thinking out of these two. That's the best way to put Drew and Diana in this entire episode. It's a single thought between the two of them, and that thought ain't good. Between Diana saying, well, Drew, I don't know because Monet tried to save me. You were the one who tried to kill her. Ain't like the bullets ain't come from you. The bullets came from you. And you're surprised because she jumped in front of the bullet? Yeah. So you're like, oh my God, she tried to save me. Were you ever really a threat of dying?
Well, literally, they didn't come from... Oh, literally, they didn't come for her, but in fact, you are a part of the reason this all happened. Except for the fact that Tasha was a part of this, and they didn't account for that.
Yeah,
that's where it gets interesting. So, I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and go as far as saying Monet tried to protect Diana. Diana can think what she wants. Monet instinctively got out of the way, which just happens to save Diana.
No,
I can't wait to get to the end of this episode.
Monet reached over.
I can't wait to get to this
guard Diana. We talked about that last season. You can't change that now. We said Monet tried to save you after what you just did to her. We brought that up. This is your fault.
It took me some time to realize that Monet doesn't have a daughter. If there was one person that wasn't going to be in her consciousness, it was not going to be Diana. I'm surprised. Honestly, it would have been so goddamn funny if Drew and Kane would have showed up in there as well too.
And not Diana.
And not Diana.
That's been fucked up.
Because she just never acknowledged her as her daughter, man. She's just some girl that's in her house that happens to. It's for the sake of the show. It looks like her.
Daughter relationship.
Yeah,
that's
she's just there.
Relationship.
Yeah, good, yeah.
You just another bitch in my house. I don't know why you here, but you here to bother me. But worse yet is Drew in this episode. Drew turns into Kane in this episode.
Yeah, let's hold on. Let's hold on to that real quick. We're about to be there. We get to the airport, and Brayden and Tariq are trying to figure out how they're going to get to Anya. They send a car in motion. All the goons pick up the car, start shooting at it. Brayden and Tariq coming out this joint looking like Call of Duty players. These motherfuckers got position, they got coordination. I think they're calling out actions. They might have even called in the care package. I don't know. Okay. I can't even believe that they had. Listen, here's what blows me. Noma had folks like Mecca on the payroll. So I would assume the way how she made the John Wick
top fight killers, and they fell for that.
I'm just saying. So,
oh my god! As I saw the truck go by, I'm like, there's no way all of them are gonna fall for the truck going by scheme and turn their backs and get shot in their backs. And here is Brayden and Tariq dressed in all black like the Omen coming through, and just easily killing everybody at that. Because clearly no one is paying attention to anything behind them. They're only paying attention to the truck that drives by.
It's a choice. But yeah, Tariq and Brayden obviously now with spent their summers in special forces training, and it's paid off. Yes. But y'all didn't see that part. Y'all didn't watch the Power Ghost. The Power YouTube series.
From where the end was when Brayden couldn't shoot a gun correctly, and that's why him and Tariq got away. Only person that got hit with a bullet is Kane. And then in the next season, which is all of 6 hours later, he is murking people with persistent gunshots.
Hey, so yeah, and I guess we should address that we were speculating if anybody had died from last season, but clearly no one didn't. So there's that. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Kane was the only person that got shot. But we'll talk about that in a little bit too. But point of the matter is Anya, who was there listening to one of my favorite songs from the Spider-Verse soundtrack. Pump, I guess that's a Beats by Dre product placement, maybe.
Clearly, it's a Beats by Dre product
placement. Because of, it's a product placement because she wasn't aware of anything that happened around her, noise cancellation. And so not only was she oblivious to what's happening around her, but she has no clue what's happening in her family organization. We'll talk a little bit about her in a second. I'm going to get through a lot more of this episode because we're almost at the hour. And, we try to keep these an hour, but I feel miserably.
We've been running through characters, so that's a good part.
Yeah. So where's that? So Anya now gets to Noma, and Noma's panicking because she had heard what happened. Anya's like admitting that she had no clue what happened. But she starts to ask questions. A couple of different things to pick up here is Noma's husband or partner, or just Anya's dad, was killed, bullet in his head. The daughter talks about having that image in her head, but ultimately she knows something, but she's starting to question a lot, where she seems to almost knows nothing, essentially, because Noma isn't leading her on. She doesn't really know about the fate of her dad. I don't think we know who the dad is. I don't think it's even important. I don't think she's getting ready to sit here and attest that Mecca's her dad, because Mecca did die with a bullet in her head. But, the daughter's asking questions. I think we're going to see a lot more of the daughter going forward. Let's quickly talk about Anya. Anya is basically a piece to the chessboard right now. Whoever has possession of Anya could potentially sway the war. And I know there's a truce right now, but there's no way they introduce Anya in this capacity of a conflict with her mother, the obliviousness to what her mother does. Tariq and them knows where she's at. They also listed about her having a trust, what school she's at. And she's just, if minding my business is a person, it's her, except she's starting to question what's going on with her mother, which we do know that there's folks that do know.
Yep.
On the same street level as her. All it takes is one little passing by conversation with any of these other folks, and she starts to really see the truth behind things, which not only would that mean she can learn the truth about her mother, but she could possibly expose some lies that we don't know about. So that's my thoughts about Iron. What got anything you want to add to her? About her?
That she's it's not much now, because I think this is a character that they'll probably grow over the course of the season. Right now, she's like the microfilm in a James Bond movie. Like, anyone who has it, you have the ultimate power. Like, that's what she is now. She's just a pawn for Tariq. But as the season goes on, she becomes Noma's vulnerable spot more and more. So I wonder how they're going to address that portion of it. Because if one person tried, they would stop other people from trying it. And then we see the mother-daughter dynamic and how that works, and how she kind of blames her mother for a lot that's going on in her life. And Noma has no response to all the stuff that she's bringing to her. So that's the part that interests us to see. And as it just pertains to this first episode, she's just a pawn to them. That's it.
Yeah.
And great product placement. Because even in a hell of gunfire, your Beats by Dre can still play Not Like Us with no issue. Like, it's that, like, it's a perfect product placement there. Because I was wondering this whole time, I have great headphones. Gunshots are different. Ain't no way.
Listen,
you should still be just sitting there.
Let it be.
Hey, we just
pick them up.
You don't say nothing.
At your local store.
I wasn't sure they was Beats by Dre, those Apple Max headphones. One of the two.
Yeah. So Kane goes to the Weston house, beats up Trace. Father comes down. Effie comes in to put a stop to it. And they plead that they're not going to tell the cops anything. So that moves on from that. Brayden and Tariq tossing their guns, still trying to explore options. Gets a call from Drew that they got Becca. Brayden leaves Tariq to go get her. Leaves Tariq. Which first thing I'm thinking is like, leaving Tariq. Can't leave Tariq. He got all the cheat codes. He's going to teleport wherever he needs to be. So leaving Tariq does absolutely nothing. But nonetheless, Tariq calls Davis and pleads for help as Davis, who picks up the call, who's getting action. He says he's no longer the lawyer because he got into some issues with the bar. But, they don't have that working relationship anymore. And Tariq just says, I need you to have my back. I gotta give it for what it's worth, and I'm not just saying it because I don't think yelling is just a perception of acting. But Michael Rainey Jr., you have to give credit that the dude over the years have really grown into a actor, because the on and off switch here, to me, and the fact that you can feel it, because Tariq is a character that's kind of nonchalant, a little tricky at times, a little weaselly at times. But when we used to see young Tariq was at a point of where he thought he was grown, but we realized he was still a young kid, especially when his dad was still around, and with Omari around. Omari is, I think, a phenomenal actor for the roles he takes. I think that you can really tell that Omari, you could just tell that Amar was the star of the show. Tariq was there to support the star of the show, and they had a really good dynamic. And I think when you talk about the father like son sort of byline for this, this is Omari-ish, to the point that I'm getting at is that Michael, over those years, you can tell really studied Omari. That is really brushing off, because the one thing about Omari that you all joked about, because you know as black folks, we don't take shit serious. But y'all always talk about when he used to yell Tariq's name, but that was the on and off switch of where he could just be chill and then he just turns it up to the max. Seeing him plead for help from Davis in a way of like, not just the lost kid, not an immature, this was a purest form of desperation and pleading for help in a way I don't think we've seen before. What do you think? I'll give you a moment to kind of talk about Michael's acting. What did you think of this moment? and overall, just seeing this young man grow into the star and the lead of the show, carrying the show. Yeah, there's other good actors, but he's the star. We show up for him.
Yeah,
you know, the person that they hated, right?
Huh?
You remember the person that they hated, you know, because
they
everybody
still
hated
hate him.
Tariq.
Oh no, they still get it right. They still hate Tariq. That has not changed. They still hate Tariq. What I did like is the information that you get in this episode, this scene right here between the two. Down to David saying, "I'm in trouble with the bar. I'm no longer a lawyer." The best advice he gave Tariq when Tariq was asking for help was, "Hey, attorney-client privilege doesn't exist anymore. You can't tell me anything. You can't even bring up anything in the past because all of it can be used against you." Yeah. And for him to hang up, and Tariq said, "I just want your help," and he says, "I am helping you." Like, that's a hard truth, because that's something that Tariq at that moment didn't understand, just how much Davis was helping him by hanging up that phone. Because Tariq would have spilled something that could have been used against him.
Yeah.
But as it just pertains to Michael, like at this point, I mean, are we just, you have to accept that he's leading this show. No matter how many other good actors on the show, there's a lot of them, Michael is putting together a performance here. Like, I just watched him recently back in Love Again. I don't know if y'all remember that movie with him and Common, where Common was a hitman and he was a little boy that was his nephew and stuff of that nature. Like, I just watched that movie like 2 weeks ago. And just imagining him at that age, and it showed the potential of what you're seeing in Ghosts. It showed that switch that you can turn on whenever it's necessary, just to amp up the way your character needs to react to everything. Like, Tariq is very mellow this entire episode, except that scene with Davis, because that's when he's breaking. And he's like, "No, I need your help." Like, that's you. In a power universe, we've never had a lead in these shows ask for that before. Yeah. Rock ain't never asked for it. Damn sure Mari never asked for it as Ghost. Tommy has never asked for it. This is the first time you've seen, like, he was on the brink of completely breaking down because he was lost.
I will say
Davis was the person that he said, "I need your help." Like, that's saying, like, dude, I have no other way out of this shit.
I will say that Mari did it with Stern. And
yeah, but that was money.
Yeah.
Right. That was a financial help. This is a situation where this is like, dog, everyone's coming at me.
Yeah.
I need you.
Yeah.
And it was the desperation in the way he said it to Davis.
There's the scene of Brayden and Tariq in the car, and it's sort of color graded in red. And, you know, if it's me, I always look really deep into things, and certain scenes when there's a particular color contrast, they typically portray things. And if you don't believe me, look up M. Night Shyamalan's interview for Glass. It's the third one Glass?
Ew.
Is the third one Glass?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because
Unbreakable Split Glass,
which is the great movie, and then Glass.
Yeah, I'm not saying the movie's great. That's why I said look up the interview, because there's a particular scene where we see the three characters all sitting in different colors, and it's a very, very distinct choice to make. And you know, M. Night, he always gets very deep in his storytelling to a point no one even knows what he's talking about. Which is why you have to watch his interview that no one's interviewing him. He's interviewing himself to explain what's happening in that. But to the point of it is that understand that, like, those are very intentional choices that people make in that. And I'm sure that the red in that is signifying something for these two characters, that these are characters who have been the most resourceful or had the most resources across the board, that they don't even know where to go. I will say this, because I know y'all had been thinking this. How come, and maybe this goes into the timeline, and I do not want to go down to the timeline hell.
You do not.
Is Tommy not available? Is Tommy not a call away?
That's what I thought when he said, who when you call your Uncle Tommy?
Christmas Castle, bitch.
But I'm assuming that, and that's why it's so hard with this show that we don't talk about timelines, because this would have been a time when him and Tommy was beefing.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't call him.
Yeah.
Like that could be the only other, because other than that, Uncle Tom is the first call. I need you to help me here. And it would have been dope if he did that and Tommy rejected him.
Yeah.
And we find out it's because of that again. Goes back to the information that Sachs gave out. They got back that Tasha did X, Y, Z, and that Tommy reacted to, which we still haven't seen fully on this yet. But other than that, I mean, it's a good scene. It's a good scene to show just how desperate Tariq is in that moment. And you need to see that because you got to remember, in the end, he's still a kid.
Yeah.
This actually brings you back to remembering he's not an adult.
Yeah.
He's a kid begging for help here with Davis.
Yeah, begging for help.
And that's weird. Davis a lawyer that you pay. They ain't going out your way to help you to do anything. But there's no one else he can depend on.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Davis, but also I need you to remember that this is a kid that is shooting a submarine gun. Like,
but we're not gonna.
I just play.
We're not gonna focus on that, man. He had a little beanie on and everything, Joe. I don't know what like military or Killers R Us store they went to get their outfits, which was straight killer outfits, Joe. Like, no, I need to see a nigga shoot a nigga in a Hawaiian shirt. It happens. Like military full J's, some not black, but he put all black and did them killings. So no issue.
Yeah.
But now he's worried.
All right, let me get through the rest of this. We got so much more to go, and our time is slowly but surely getting up in there. Kane, we're at Kane's spot now. He's getting a bullet removed. The doctor's spending a lot of time emphasizing how lucky he is. More time than I think was necessary, but there, no there. Him and Effie are flirting, kissing, and whatever, I guess. Diana Drew. Diana, they're with Becca because they're trying to go to the pier to meet Brayden, but Diana wants to get out to Uber to go to the hospital to see her mother. Becca is looking kind of worried because things are looking a little bit suspicious. We see Monet at the hospital again with the Lorenzo and Mecca dynamic, blaming her while them two are agreeing on the same thing. As you mentioned, everything she did was for. Now, the only reason I had to bring this up because
shit,
y'all know what time it is. Y'all know exactly what time it is. It is the Fast and Furious break.
I'm about to say,
because I don't care if Monet shot Zeke herself, but when you say everything I did was for family, she's absolutely right.
All's forgiven.
Absolutely right. Now, all they need to do was take that IV she was on, pump her with some Corona. She would have been up with a 10-second car outside waiting for her.
Oh, man.
Diana and Monet instead of Tejada, Monet Toretto.
Hey, she did survive more than my guy from Fast and the Furious. You
know Jesse, stop with the Jesse slander.
When they took out many bullets, Jesse got hit one time and they killed my dog. They killed my man Jesse with one bullet. Monet,
I think Jesse, I think he got shot 3 times, but nonetheless, yeah, Jesse. Yeah. Moving on now. Monet proclaims that she's not dying today. Pausing her son, who Andrew won't let it go. Pause pleads for him to just drop this case in his obsession with the St. Patrick's.
Yeah.
Becca is trying to figure out what's happening with Drew. She tries to call her dad. Drew reaches for the gun, for the phone, pepper sprays her because why wouldn't she have pepper spray? She gets out. Brayden sees her. We get a little situation with Drew, Brayden, and Becca, but Drew gets hit by a car. Of course, it's Tariq. Drew's hurt, and everybody gets away. We get to the hospital. They think that now the doctors are saying that they're going to lose Monet. Zeke visits her. She admits for her actions, but wants forgiveness. As we mentioned, Zeke leaves. Davis now gets a visit for Noma and Obi about Tariq. And Davis, who has a change of heart very quickly, now stands for Tariq because he says he roots for the underdog. He also, I didn't write this on my notes, but I believe he was referring to him as little bro. a little look.
All the time. He said that
Yeah,
multiple times to him.
yeah.
Yeah. Little weird.
I tell you, I love this. I absolutely love this because the fact that like he says he root for the underdog, that's been very consistent in Davis's storytelling the
Yes.
entire time. So that makes sense. The fact that they come in his house, Davis is a gangster, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. The dude got street cred. He knows how things work. He knows somebody coming in putting a hit on these little kids definitely is off. He's not going to allow that. For somebody who really had no ethics in the courtroom, he certainly is living by the street code, it seems like here.
All it takes is two wonderful women with you in the shower, and it makes you second think life.
Maybe post-nut clarity did come into play, but I will tell you this.
All it is.
I did appreciate that he stood up for him because I think Davis has always seen himself in Tariq. I think he admired his ambition. And I think this has nothing to do with money. As he said, which was beautifully written, for the first time ever, fuck your money, which is very telling of Davis's growth from 6 hours from last season. I'm glad you brought up the shower scene.
My man in 6 hours lost his job, got 2 girls to come over. He like, Lord, dog, I don't care about nothing right now. But again, it kind of makes sense because of the person that Davis is. That he will move on that fast because everything is a facade to him. And the girls are helping with that.
Yeah. So being Noma
in the middle of like a fight, you lost your motherfucking mind. Nah, I got you, little bro. What the fuck did you just say?
Yeah, it's definitely a change of pace for him, but
but it's new. He's not a lawyer no more.
Yeah, and I don't think the lawyer title matter. I think it is just the fact that like
it's a certain amount of arrogance he carried himself with because he was a lawyer.
Yep, there you go. And
now that's gone. So the mask is revealed, and now he just fucking bitches to shower.
Yeah, they were right there.
Telling people, I always had your back. What you talking about?
Yeah,
but not here. I
will say what's in question is though, can we trust Davis from this point on? I don't know.
I think so. I think Davis has done the full face turn.
Yeah,
like we kind of saw leading up last season, but here I think it's down to him calling Tariq like, "Hey, you watch yourself." He don't turn face. May not all the way, like a Razor Ramon face or Kurt Angle face. Like, they like there for the pop, but they still do some off the wall crazy shit for no apparent reason.
Yeah. And listen, if this is the last season and we're not in the courtroom, we're not in the classroom, you got to give Davis something.
Yeah.
So let's get him out on these streets. I love that we're turning the page on the lawyer stuff, and we're going to see him get involved in a way we haven't. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But anyway, we see Brayden dad, because Brayden goes to see his dad, and Brayden dad went on Urban Dictionary and looked up racial slurs for black people and read all of them.
Dog. We was talking. I said, wait a minute. Where did all this racism come from? I know he was blackface in a little the yearbook. But this amount of racism at one time?
I tell you, it's the covert racism for me. This is why, like, I say this all the time, that I really, really, really enjoy President Trump's first election run, because people came out and I was like, yes, finally. I'm tired of people hiding. Because whoever you wanted to vote for, people definitely drew the line in terms of their racial beliefs. And instead of people walking around with their hoods on, people were taking them off, walking the streets. Damn sure up to the Capitol on January 6th.
Yep.
I think this is the case of that, is that you have these folks that appears to be ally. And then listen, he doesn't have a clean track record. Absolutely.
Bunnies, didn't he?
That kind of hurt me. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, damn,
he run around this little jungle bunny. I said, what the fuck?
Yeah, he went deep in the library for that one.
Racist lore.
But like, let's keep it 100. Like, we know the whole family had their temptations from the book, the burn book at that had all the secrets, and then even from the intern as well too, the internship, that we knew that there was a lot of funniness going on with that. But
With the
like,
brother and him.
yeah, exactly. So it took the moment of, being a little roughed up for him to express his true colors and his true nature. So I think it makes sense, because I think these type of people exist every day, everywhere you look. These folks that you be like, damn, they're kind of cool, but they brush me a little wrong. Well, one confrontation with them and see what choices of words they use.
Was it a senator that he was protecting in a yearbook that was in blackface, or was it him?
It was, I don't know. They were all together, so they're all guilty by association, and it's something they did on the regular. So
yeah,
so yeah, birds of a flock. The brother, the uncle, the father, the uncle, the all their political ties, all of them, even Trace, and Trace's boys.
But no, Trace is an ass. He never racist. Trace,
no. He had his comments about Tariq at the internship.
He don't like Tariq because he thinks he's poor. Like, I don't have nothing to do with his race. He's like the guy who, if it was a rich black kid, he would be friends with him. Like, that's what gives off with Trace.
He also had his sort of interesting interactions with Brayden's work girlfriend, whatever the thingy thing.
At one point.
Yeah, so no, he don't get help. Listen, none of them motherfuckers get a pass except for Brayden.
I'm giving Trace a pass. Trace will be the white boy who will be friends with the rich black kid, and they will make racist jokes together, because that rich black kid is going to make lots of racist jokes, because he's not going to understand. Maybe I shouldn't joke with my white friend about this type of stuff.
Yeah, he ain't getting a pass for me.
His daddy called him my God. He went Super Saiyan in racism. Surprised he didn't like call somebody a garboon. Like
he not. Yeah. All right. Let's continue to go down here.
Porch monkey.
So Davis,
that's what he said. Oh, my bad. It just popped in my head. He said porch monkey, and I said, "Oh my God, they let him get that off in 2024." I know it's a TV show, but still.
So Davis calls Tariq, let him know that there's 100K on his head, to tell him to get out of New York, tell him to get his money and get gone, tell him to stay alive, little brother, talk about the butt money that he has in Stansfield. This is the part where we see the two of them really without options and just lost, even to the point that Tariq has apologized for getting Brayden into this, but Brayden's ride or die, and they just, they're going to do what they got to do. Monet now, Diana goes to see Monet, and she is in a coma. They got the bullet out, and Drew tells her to smuggle her with the pillow. We got to see this through.
So
and
he
says
alive.
And said that Tariq is going to tell Monet everything, because Drew is just on his gangster shit. Drew is not deviating from the plan. But anyway, we see Brashandria and some white girl on campus as the police are looking for Tariq. Brashandria easily picks up that it's a cop. White girl's like, please teach me. And then they run into Effie. Asks Effie about Tariq. Mentions that Tariq's on campus. And Effie and Kane texts Noma to let them know that money's theirs. And basically now she puts out the hit, 100K. This is the John Wick scene. Everybody's getting that text, and that's it. So Effie texts Tariq
as everybody's getting a text.
Yep. So Effie texts Tariq to let her know that Kane is after him. But we get to the parking garage now where Andrew, this is so random that why do cops really do this? Meet you in the most random spots at night to talk about some cop shit?
Yes.
Hey,
that's how you get inside information.
Yeah, 10 o'clock at night.
Informants.
What's up with this? But he's an actual cop. So Angel,
remember though, he's doing it at behest of his job. He's not doing it with the blessing. He's basically being every other power cop when you do shit and you don't have a blessing or backing.
I mean, okay, so one, he's not being tasked to do this. He's going off on a limb of his own obsession, but it still doesn't make sense to be doing this in the middle of the night, knowing that this is a dangerous situation, knowing that he's a dangerous kid, knowing everything you know about this family. And you're just like, I think I know where I can find him. But they did say that everybody would suspect that he would be on campus. But like, are you really going to go look for this kid in the middle of the night to confront him about some damn green cards and the hard drive? So nonetheless, I saw this a mile away. This was going to be his demise because it just made no sense that he was going to be there. Meanwhile, all these agents or assassins are after them as well too. So
you know what I missed that I really was upset about? I never got to see what that Asian woman was going to do with them knives. Never got to see it, damn it.
Forgot about that. Definitely forgot about that. Yeah, they definitely had these scenes of folks. You're like, oh shit, they really about to get into some action here.
And she had them jokes by her waist. I said, oh, that shit about to get crazy.
You're right. They sold us a dream.
You're like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, let her throw at least one of them jokes at somebody.
Yeah. Oh, the good news, listen. If they would have beat all these assassins, I may not have shown up for episode 2. Or I may have showed up just with a whole different style of coverage here. Because like, if I knew I was going to get an action series, then so be it. Or some level of martial arts. Yeah,
the Continental Show.
My man comes to the desk with the coin, sitting there.
If Tariq hits somebody with sweet chin music, I'm out. I'm out. He's a privileged. Here's the weird part. With this violence aspect of it, all of a sudden being amped up this way, you would almost expect it more from Brayden than you would Tariq.
Yeah. Seriously.
But it works because, again, it's just showing that the stakes are that high where they have to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
And conversations are important. And for that conversation you had with the killer, like the killer, like you expect that from Tariq. It's amazing when you get to see his mind work.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like his dad.
But yeah, Andrew's there talking about the green cards. The green cards that was given to Obi, and Tariq answers to Brayden, who is this guy? Angela Valdez's he's Angela Valdez's nephew. Says my dad's bitch. Shootout goes along. Then Tariq sets up this whole plan to use him as leverage, and this is everything we talked about earlier with him calling Noma, talk about the DEA or FBI, whoever he said is after them. They're on to you, and this is a way of them having truce. Meanwhile, Obi's pulling the strings, telling him to take the deal. She's not even questioning it. She's not even suspicious at all that Obi's just so willing to like just do this. Like, this may be our only opportunity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, with that being said, it seems like Oma gave the blessing to keep him alive, only for Tariq to kill him and place it the evidence so that it's the assassin and them, and they both died. So that does definitely cleans his hand in a way that we don't need to get too deep into about, but that ends that. Angel's gone, the assassin's gone, the hit's been off, the truth's been made for however long that lasts. But there's that. Brayden calls the cops. Kane gets the text to stand down. As we already said, Kane decided he was still going to go after it anyway. But at the same time, he calls Drew. Tariq calls Drew, tells Kane to stand down because of the Noma truth, because Kane is after him. Diane is looking at Monet. She's crying, talking about she misses her mother. And at this very moment, it was the daughter's touch that brought her back to life. I tell you why this is. I know a lot of people want to. I know y'all going to say this is silly, this is unbelievable, or coincidental, whatever y'all want to say.
What I thought.
All I want to say is, this was absolutely what the forgiveness that Monet needed in order to bring her back from the afterlife.
Monet got up from the afterlife and said, "Where's Drew and Kane?"
Yeah,
that's what Diana.
Yeah, nah, seriously, I was definitely expecting her to be so rude, but I think we'll talk about it in like one quick second, so we're almost there. The cops are on campus with Brayden and Tariq giving a statement. Drew shows up. tells everybody to tells Kane to stand down because of the truth. Diana admit that Diana says that she lied about who actually shot Monet. And they all, because they're all at the hospital now. They say we have to move on as a family. And Monet says, I love y'all, as in all of y'all. Want to know who did this shit? They said they don't know, as Kane looks back at Drew, but he says he doesn't know and says to find out. Noma tells Tariq, you can't move product. And I'm sorry, because Noma told Tariq they can't move product. Because of the deal they made, he said they basically killed us and but left us breathing. What the fuck are we going to do? And that is all that leaves that right there. We'll get to the last scene in 1 second. But for everything that we discussed here, is there anything else with these characters before we get to the last scene? Talk about Tariq, Brayden, Monet, the Tejadas, Angel, his story. Is there anybody else that you want to discuss anything else on?
Probably the Tejadas, because that's the most interesting story to me in this episode. Of quick thing not to forget, no matter what Diana says, she's the reason Monet got shot. Like it's amazing the way her guilt works. She feels so bad after she teamed with her brother to do this that now she's trying to wish nothing but the best for Monet. But again, what happens when Monet finds out about this? It ain't gonna be nothing but the best for Diana. She's gonna kill you. So their whole arc was the best part of this episode.
Yeah.
From Diana with her, Drew attempting to be Kane, to Kane being Kane. Like they did a great job of the big three of the children really showing you the different avenues that they take with Tariq. Because in all honesty, other than that, Tariq can always set up a partnership with one of them or all of the company and do whatever the hell he wants to do. So that's why I'm interested in seeing that. Like, that was the one that caught me the most in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody else wasn't great, but the Tejada kids, because I need to find out when Murray finds out who shot her, what's going to be the next step.
Yeah, I think for me, it's good to know that we're going to have Mary all season when they obviously they took an opportunity to write her off and work the dynamics between the three siblings in terms of how they're going to go about the revenge for her mother. Diana, it should be very much explained. It should be very much understood that Diana is young. She's immature. She's of the same age of Tariq and Brayden. Her lying that she thinks is effective, we know as adults looking at the show that has to be exposed. The brothers will cope for her. The mother won't. Monet will not. Monet will be able to see through it. She will ask the right questions. She will break. The other real question is, will Tasha at some capacity be involved in any of the revenge aspect of this? Because she was a part of it and they haven't addressed it. They said Tariq. There was 2 cars because Tariq was there and so was Tasha. So I'm wondering, are they going to be able to piece that all together and how that's going to come about? And we're going to see what happens with Monet moving forward. Let's get to the last scene of this episode. We heard about this casting, and I tell you one thing, and then one thing I know. If you put Michael Ealy in the show, he damn sure gonna kill somebody or he cheating on somebody, because that's what he does best. So welcome to the Power Universe, my brother Michael Ealy, Detective Don Carter. Don Carter is here because he is introduced as giving a confession in the church. He talks about his wife, who wasn't lost, was murdered, and the task force is what keeps him busy. This is interesting because we don't know his wife, Denise. There is not a Denise in the Power Universe. I searched.
I literally looked it up. I said, wait a minute, maybe this is a character. So I'm typing up. I'm like, nah, this character doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But then you realize it was only to introduce the anger level of losing someone and possibly equating it to what happened with Paz.
Yeah, either that. I mean, you can go a couple of different ways with me too. I think people handle grieving differently. So the fact that like he admits that the task force is what keeps him going, and which is why he needs to be involved, I can buy into that. If you need an obsessed cop with a different level of motivation, I can get with that. But ultimately, with Paul's coming to him, they're going to have to explain that. What is their connection? What is her connection to Denise? Because Paul's could have easily went to Blanca, could have been looking for Jenny.
She went to him.
She went to him. And he doesn't have any track record in these streets as of right now. So there has to be a measure of accountability with him. Why he has to go. Remember, he's a detective there. So Pauls gets there and he swears by her that he's going to get who murdered her son, again, who just recently joined the DEA. And she admits, she lets him know that he was looking into the investigation of Tariq, and he promised he's going to nail who took her son. So we'll see just how involved Mr. Don Carter is in this show, Michael Ealy himself. And if he doesn't cheat or sleep with somebody or stalk somebody, it's unbelievable.
We already know he's gonna stalk Tariq the entire show, so that's already a given. It's already given.
Yeah.
But again, I'm excited to see Michael Ealy in this type of role and to see exactly what he's going to bring to the Power universe.
Yeah. Absolutely agreed. Let's stick a fork in it. That will do it for tonight's episode of Power Book 2 Ghost. This is episode 401. So this is episode 1 of part 2 of season 4. Get in the comments. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts about tonight's episode. Let us know the things that we might have missed, that we didn't touch on, any questions, any additional input, or so on. We have so much more additional coverage for this season upcoming. So you stay tuned here at the channel for all of that. I do want to give one final disclaimer as we get into the season.
Shit.
Keep your mouth closed, sir. I thought we were a team. You over here like, oh, I'm about to say something crazy. I have got to let anybody know, if this is your first time watching us, that here at Big Gold Belt Media, our style is we watch this episode, we get on here and we review the thing. We don't got any prep. We don't got any, going down the call sheet, meeting, making sure
there's nothing.
It's natural. It's organic. We want to engage with you all, which means that you all engage with us. Keep it nice. Keep it friendly. If we got something wrong, let us know. We'll be in the conversation.
Comments.
We'll be in the comments with
like
you
Brayden's
all.
Dad. We got an amazing admin. You will get blocked immediately.
On the quickness. But nonetheless, that's what we do here. I know there's a lot of other channels y'all like that's doing all this other stuff. That's not our style here. We bring the authentic,
45
organic
videos of this one episode. Y'all know.
Authentic, organic conversations here where we just go about our thoughts, our feelings, our reactions of the events of the episode. So with that being said, we appreciate you all joining us for the entire show tonight. So we're back next week, because after that episode air, come here to Big Gold Belt Media, and we'll be right here waiting for you with the recap of the next episode. So until then, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and we'll see y'all back next week.